back, YouTube viewers. Today we're going to get into those audio drawers down below that house all the audio cards. We're actually going to take apart the first one, which is 1 through 8. And we're going to take it all apart, clean it, and we have to get into the basis boards, those motherboards that are behind the audio cards and below the Dolby cards that go inside there. So those have capacitors on them like we saw in the other one. So what I need to do is I need to take apart these cage, totally take it apart, so I can get in there and take that basis boards out, recap them with new caps, put them back in, clean all that stuff, lubricate the drawer slides so that things slide in and out nice and easy, and basically clean the entire thing. I'm not going to put the cards back in. The cards will go in after when the machine is actually running, once we get the power and everything. But I am going to clean this totally apart on this card cage. I'm going to show you how it's done. I can't really do this with the video, but I'll show you stills as it's going along. And obviously I have to do it to 2 more card cages after that. So let's just show you what's going on, and let's not waste any more time, and let's go. Alright, this is 1 through 8 card cage. Now you're looking at the back side of it. That thing that's flipped down there is where the Dolby cards go in it, and it's flipped down so you could actually get access to the wiring behind the card cage. You see all the dirt obviously too. But you can see you can get access to the back of the 2 basis boards for the audio cards. And the basis board for the noise reduction card is in the bottom of this card cage right here. So right now all I got it done is I just got this flipped down so we can get in there. Now this is a closer shot of it. As you can see, there's quite a mess. Remember, we started from the top, so everything that's basically was in the machine is there, plus stuff that's falling as I've been working on the top part of this, falling more into it. Now on the left hand side you can see that that's the wires. Those wires you see are the power going to this little distribution board, and that's the back side of the distribution board, and then it plugs in to both of these basis boards plus the noise reduction basis board. That's the fuse board that's where all the fuses are. And that's the back side of that board where all this stuff plugs in. We'll get a better shot of that as we work on it. But here's just a good shot overall so you can see as much dirt's inside this thing. Now this is a close-up of the noise reduction basis board. And as you can see, because this thing sits horizontally, everything lays right on top of it. So this is where the Dolby cards plug in, and you can see what a mess it is down there. So this has all got to be taken apart and cleaned so those cards plug in correctly or cleanly. And this is the other side of the same motherboard. It's one piece that goes through, and you can see that these connectors too are also destroyed. I mean, it's just so much dirt and stuff down inside there that's causing, that would cause a problem like that. But anyway, all that dirt's just laying on this stuff once this is out. Now remember I was talking about that fuse board. This is a close-up of the bottom of one of those connectors. And if you look closely where the arrow I'm pointing to here, you'll notice the solder's cracked around it. This is something I've been warned about with these connectors, and I've been watching for it. However, this is the first one I found where I actually had a crack on the solder joint. So of course I've touched up all of these, not only this one connector, but all of the connectors on there that plug in. But these are these high current connectors, so they're pretty big, and that would cause you a problem in the long run there. Now in this shot you can see I've actually removed the 2 audio basis boards. Actually the Dolby noise reduction basis board, the entire cage came off. There's those 2 screws where it hinges down, that came off, and it's out of the way right now. So it's out of the picture. And what you're looking at now is the 2 basis boards that go behind all the audio cards. The top row being 1 through 4, bottom 5 through 8. And like the other basis boards, they have these wires hard soldered in. So I didn't want to unsolder them again because they're not on a connector or nothing like that. So I just removed the basis boards out of there, and I'll be able to work on replacing those caps. There's enough lead on those basis boards right there to actually work on it. Once I've pulled out all the stuff that's holding that whole wiring loom in, and it's separated from the unit itself. So let's actually let's take a closer look at that card cage with the basis boards out of the way now. Now this is the card cage itself there. But what you can see here is you can see a bunch of dirt. See it on the right hand side? It's sitting on the cable assemblies that are for the latches. Okay, and then there's also lots of dirt that's wedged between the top card cage and the bottom card cage. There's actually a channel in there, just due to the way they manufacture it, and it's full of dirt. So I got to take this farther apart than what I've done right now in order to clean this better. Now you're looking at the actual mechanical slide rack with those card cage totally removed. The front's been removed, the 2 card cages have been removed, obviously the Dolby card cage has been removed, and that's just the mechanical rack. So there's a button in the front. The button hinges a little arm then pulls on those 2 cables. What they've done is that it latches in with one cable on one side and latches out with the other cable on the other side. I don't know why, but that is the arrangement it's done. So one latches it when it goes in the unit, the other one latches it when it goes out of the unit, but they're both operated from one button, which hinges and pulls both of them cable assemblies. They're just like handbrakes on a bicycle. So basically the same sort of arrangement, and then it's pulling on a rod inside the unit. There's another shot of it from the front. You get a little better idea of when you press that button, because it's on a lever. See, it hinges on that back point. Because it's on a lever, it will pull the cable. The little bar will pull outwards and pull the 2 cables when you push the button in. Okay, kind of a cool idea. You press the button in, it's pulling the cable, which pulls the 2 latches out of the engagement spots and allows the card cage either to slide in or slide out. And when it's in there, it just latches naturally because of the spring of the mechanism right there. Now in this shot, I actually have separated the 2 card cages from each other, and they're just laying on that track right there. Just to show you, after I've cleaned them, they're just laying there. The one with the blue tape's the top card cage, the other one is the bottom card cage. It just sets on, they screw together, they're fastened through the back and through the front, and then the basis boards really hold the whole thing together. But those are just the card cages just sitting there so I could clean that section underneath there. Now this is kind of comical. This screw, which I'm pointing to right here, this is holding the back of the bottom card cage to that sliding rack. Okay, and there's 2 of these screws, and because of the angle, okay, and where they're at, I spent like an hour trying to get this screw to start. I tried every tool I had, and in the end, my son, whose fingers were a little smaller, was able to come in here and get these screws started. This was not a fun thing to do. 2 little screws screwing me up. Now here's both card cages are now totally cleaned, screwed back into the rack, so they're actually attached on the back and the front. And here's the bottom basis board screwed back in its place. You can see there's a little protective thing down at the bottom there, and the wires, you see the loom just hanging there. Those wires are going off to that power distribution board, which has the fuses on. That's part of that Dolby section there. But that's the one basis board installed back in there. Everything's nice and clean, screwed together, and ready for the next one. Now here's a shot of both audio basis boards back installed into the unit. You can see that top one's got the same protective backing plate at the bottom there, except it's got labels to let you know which connector's which on the back of that. Also, you notice the bottom of that plastic, that gray plastic thing, is where the wiring looms go. And so it's all cleaned out, ready to go. I'm going to reroute those power lines when I start bringing in the rest of the wires, the audio wires that plug in the stuff. And they'll slot into those various little slots, those little fingers there, before the cover will go on top of it. So now you can see all the wires plugged back in to the basis boards, the audio basis boards, all laying in the trough, going up through those little cracks into plastic like that. Basically what you're looking at is, for each channel, remember there was 5 cards, you're looking at line in, line out. I believe that's the first on this side from the right. That'll be your first one. You're looking at those black lines are actually going up to the heads, record and playback. Third one, I'm not sure. I think it's part of the erase system. And then it starts over again, with the next one again being the double one being a line in, line out, and keeps going on down there. So that's really all it is there. The noise reduction isn't plugged in yet, so you haven't seen those wires yet. And this is just a close-up of where that wiring loom goes. It goes into this thing, and there's this. It goes up. You see that metal bracket there? There's 3 tie wraps that are actually holding that loom into there. So this thing could do a little service loop, basically, is what's going on. Goes in, comes up, does a little loop, so it'll go in and out without stretching or pulling on anything. So this is kind of tricky because everything's protected with little rubber edges and stuff like that, but it's also tied with those tie wraps in there and screwed together tight, so you're not pulling any wires when you open a drawer or close a drawer. Now here's the completed card cage, totally done. The Dolby section is still hinged down. As you can see on the right, there's that blue strap. That's just to hold it from swinging down farther, so it's meant to swing down like this. And if you look closely, you can see everything's plugged into the fuse board. That's that little square on the left where all the power lines and stuff go in. You now can see the additional connectors plugged in that are coming from the basis board of the Dolby card cage. And you can see them coming up there. And again, 4 channels on top, 4 channels on the bottom. So basically 8 connectors across there. Because remember, the signal's going to come in and out of those Dolby boards. So that's what's going on. So this is all audio wiring. This is actually all shielded wiring because this is all audio stuff going on here. With the exception of those colored ones, which are your power for the racks.
All right, there you have it. Totally cleaned, recapped, lubricated, so it slides out nice and easy. Awaiting the cards, that's all it is, awaiting the cards. Beautiful, beautiful job sliding out. This is it. It's just awaiting the cards now. Well, that's it for this video. But as you know, there actually is 2 more drawers that I have to clean out and do the same thing I did on this one. If there's some stuff in there that you didn't see in this one, I'll throw in the next video so you can see behind some of that stuff. And in any case, we're on our way to getting this done. So if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Hit the bell for notifications. I'll let you know when the next one's coming out. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.